A very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of the second edition of Languages Week 2021. Languages Week is the first e-conference in the country to explore the power of local languages in mass media and celebrate the beauty of India's diversity. Before we begin, I would like to thank our presenting partner, ABP News, and Part by Partner, Colors Bangla, for supporting us. Can we please have their EVs?
न पाबंदी हो न कोई हद हो तो बस खुद बनाई सरहद हो। ये मुहिम है परतों में छिपे हर सच की तलाश की, सियासत पर रखी पैनी नजर और आंख की, खबरों की दुनिया में एक जिम्मेदार आवाज की, जुर्म और जुल्म के खिलाफ हर बेबस के लिए इंसाफ की। जब कोई हद नहीं इंसानियत के लिए जज्बात की, जब कोई हद नहीं खुशियों और ख्वाब की, तब कोई हद क्यों हो नए नजरिए और बदलाव की। तोड़ के हदों के ताले नए सपनों को पाले, बांधे सबको एक धागे, आपको रखे आगे। एबीपी নিউজ।
30 আগস্ট থেকে বিনোদনের পারদ আরো চড়বে, কারণ টিভির পর্দায় বড় চমক দিতে নতুন স্বপ্নের রং নিয়ে আসছে কালার্স বাংলা।
আমি মীর সঙ্গীতের মহারথীদের নিয়ে আসছি সঙ্গীতের মহাযুদ্ধে।
এখানে পাবেন ড্রামা,
আপনারা যদি এই সমাজের মাথা হন, আমরা হলাম মাটি।
ইমোশন,
বাইরে থেকে নয় ভেতর থেকে যে খাঁটি সেই আসল সুন্দর।
স্নেহ,
শ্বশুর শাশুড়িকে দেখলে কি বাবা মাকে দেখা যায় না?
ভালোবাসা,
চিন্তা নেই, আমি এবারে বৌমা হলেও আমরা শুধুই বন্ধু।
সম্মান, উত্তেজনা, দিন বদলের স্বপ্ন।
হয় শ্বশুর বাড়ি নয় বাপের বাড়ি, মেয়েদের একটা নিজেদের বাড়ি থাকতে নেই।
4টি ভিন্ন স্বাদের ধারাবাহিকের সাথে নতুন এক অন্য মানের নন ফিকশন। এমন বিনোদন আর পাবেন কোথায়? চোখ রাখুন কালার্স বাংলায় আর যে কোনো সময় ভুটে।
Thank you. Moving on to today's session, what's holding back regional OTT programming? On the panel, we have Divya Dikshit, Senior VP, Revenue and Marketing at Alt Balaji, Pooja Rajathyaksh, Head of Content at Eros Now Originals, and Kranti Gada, Chief Operating Officer, Shimaru Entertainment, who will be joining us shortly. Welcome, everyone. Now introducing you to the moderator of the session, Anirban Roy Chaudhary, Associate Editor at AFAX. Also, right after this panel discussion, we have an exclusive interview with Sanjeev Gupta, Sports Head at Star and Disney India. So please stay tuned. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. Over to you, Anirban.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Debashish, for the warm welcome. 10 years back, a song had gone viral and you all must be remembering it. It was called Kolavari Du. It was all over the place. Internet was not that big that time, but yet the song, it was sung even in the northeastern part, even in Kashmir, and even in the southern part of the country. Today, a similar thing is happening. A Sri Lankan song, it's all over the internet. It's and people are making different version of it. So we have seen songs travel across regions. We are here to discuss why is OTT shows in regional language not traveling from one region to the other. We have had a further which has been really critically acclaimed in India, but again a South Indian show is hardly appealing to the North Indian audience and vice versa. Thank you for joining us, and to the audience I would like to request, please send in your questions. We'll try and address them as we go forward. Starting with you, Divya, Alt Balaji had something called Dhimaner Dimkal, if you remember. It was a fantastic Bengali show. But then you all stopped, and I still remember Ekta Kapoor at Video Next telling us that you can't go with one show, you need a volume in order to cater to the audience. So is that what is stopping us? Your initial remark on this topic, on why is regional content, what is stopping this regional content in the OTT space?
Okay, so I really can't comment on the fact what is stopping, but I do believe that there are quite a few platforms now, coming out with regional content. So for example, from where I come prior to this, Z5, we launched the platform with a promise of content in 12 languages. So I think there are sincere attempts happening in the OTT space for regional content to come out. As far as Alt is concerned, see, we are a platform which has always been extremely sharp in terms of resources, right? Whether it's content, whether it's tech, whether it's marketing, we've always sort of focused a lot on the ROI perspective. Now, if you look at OTT platforms from an ROI perspective, Hindi is sort of 70% market of the country, right? And also there is a lot of demand of Hindi content in global diaspora. Today, almost 20% of our traffic comes from rest of the world, right? So the choice, and it's a conscious choice that we made at Alt, where we said, let's first create the Hindi originals market. Let's create and capture that. Once we've done that successfully, where we believe that we've cemented our position and we are going towards it. Today, we are 86 plus originals, right? And the platform completely works on originals. We don't acquire movies, we don't acquire sports, news, music, nothing. And we are still one of the top 5 grossing apps as per App Annie and the Play Store, which is 94% of the mobile population of the country. I think it's a very conscious attempt to first capture the Hindi market, work towards having a loyal base out over there, and then probably picking up languages market and working with them. See, the critical point of working with languages market is, and I wouldn't call them regional because each language is important, I believe. With languages market, I can't shortchange them, right? I can't give them one show in a year and dub the rest and say, this is my language offering. It can't be like that. I have to give them a consistent pipeline of content that is created in their language with their sensibilities, with their actors, with their stars, with their kind of background and storytelling. And then of course on the back of it can be rest of my library dubbed or subtitled to suit their further language sensibilities, right? But at no point of time should your attempt at a language market shortchange the consumer. I think it's a very short-sighted approach of working. We would never advise people to work in that fashion or a manner. And the thing is that we have also seen that, people in language markets, and this is my past experience, are very, very sensitive about, is it all dubbed or is it also specifically made for me? These are conscious decisions which probably are holding back Alt from just jumping into it for the sake of jumping into it. Is there an intention to work on the regional, on the languages? Of course, there is 100%. We would want to be accepted by more and more audience. But the idea is to first capture the low-hanging fruit and cement our position over there and then move on to the next.
Okay, fair enough. Pooja, welcome, Kanti. We just started the conversation and this is the first question that we are addressing. We're trying to get initial remarks. So Pooja, what's your view on this? I mean, do you think, see, it's obvious that we are not putting out as much content in non-Hindi languages, non-Hindi Indian languages as we are doing in Hindi, but what is it that is holding it back? Is it the availability of content, or is it because there are OTT players in multiple languages already, so you then go ahead and have a different competition?
So Anirban, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so my view is actually, I think nothing is holding back entering into the regional markets. I would say, it's an evolving and a maturing process right now. Everybody is going into the regional markets. I think in the last 1 year during this pandemic, we've all seen that there's been an exponential growth in the consumption of content and viewership across markets. Mainstream languages have been able to create, I would say, critical mass audiences. And I think now with that happening, the regional markets are just going to now explode in the next 2 to 3 years. Even for Eros now, we have a very robust movie library, almost for about 12,000 films. And 50% of our current viewership comes from regional markets, from tier 1, tier 2 towns. And I'm talking more of films rather right now. And these are people who are not fluent in English. They are very comfortable in their own languages. And I think in the last 12 months, this whole growth has just been accelerated. So That's my view. So I wouldn't say any. It's just maturing. It's evolving. There's nothing that's holding back.
Oh,
And I would also like to say that there is now, we've always sort of, there is this Gen Z and the millennial audiences who have kind of already been and who are coming into the OTT platforms. A little older audiences, say, between 25 to 35, because have also kind of been flirting with OTT platforms in every regional market because of this pandemic. They've watched their favorite TV shows, they've kind of experimented with original content. So I think now it's just a matter of time before people start. And anyways, we know they love consuming content in their own languages.
I'll come back to
that's
you.
my view on it.
You gave two very important points you made there, and I'll come back to it. But Kranti, your initial remarks, do you see, the share is out there in public domain, right? Like how much Hindi content we are putting versus how much non-Hindi content we are putting. If you compare it with TV, the regional languages, GEC is growing faster than Hindi GEC, and it has been happening for quite some time. The content is also skewed towards regional GECs and not Hindi GECs, purely because it's 5 versus 25 channels. So, but when it comes to OTT, what is happening? Like, what is it that you observe currently in terms of regional content?
See, I completely actually agree with the points made by Divya and Pooja. I think they've made some brilliant points already, but just elaborate a few out of those. First of all, you can't compare OTT and regional. If you see the initial 10 years of television, it was more skewed to Hindi. Okay, except even the 4 South languages, which then had a robust broadcaster who came in. But other than that, the first few years, Hindi itself was big enough for, the first low-hanging fruit, as Divya said. And in fact, if you see initially, if you remember the ZTV of the old, it was all genres of content also into one channel. They showed news also, they showed sports also, they showed movies also, they showed GC also, right? Then the specialization happened in terms of, genres and then languages. So again, as Pooja said, it's a matter of time and maturity, industry maturity. That being said, today what's holding them back, I would say definitely, is that the early adopters that are there in each language. Okay, today I would say maximum of the viewership of OTTs is coming from the early adopters, and now a little bit plus after that. And they are, most of them are very well versed with Hindi and English, and many of them are even language agnostic and consume content in multiple languages. The next tier of consumers who would have more affinity to watching only in their own regional language. So these are people who would necessarily want to watch regional versus Hindi or English. Their willingness to pay, ability to pay, when you say the numbers of those people who are willing to pay and ability to pay drops. The same thing you observe, by the way, in television also. So for example, the economics of a Hindi channel and a Hindi channel, or Hindi mainstream GC can probably even spend 12 to 15 lakhs to make a single episode. But a regional regional TV channel has to, spends probably 1/3 of that amount to make an episode. And the economics are different. So the kind of product, therefore, you're able to make today, can you really then compete with the big budget, content that is coming out of, some of the national OTTs in, again, Hindi and English. So therefore, you need a large base of a loyal audience, of a language loyal audience. And I feel that is still happening. It's not right out there yet. And of course, that being said, Shemaroo has a very, very strong foray into Gujarati, and I'll share some examples later. But I think as far as the opening remarks are concerned, I end here.
Great.
And can I just add on to this, Anirban, since I think Kranti mentioned some nice points. I think what really is important right now, what we all need to recognize, which is actually now a global phenomenon, is that people are language agnostic, like she said. Content is global. You can subtitle content, you can watch it in your dubbed languages. people don't, I mean, they love to watch content in their own mother tongue and their, content which resonates with their culture and way of life and all of that. But I think there has been an opening up and of content in that sense, because people can watch it in any language they wish to, because now dubbed content is available, subtitle content is available, bilingual content is being made. If you see, like in even a Hindi show, for instance, if there is a Gujarati family or there is a a Tamil family, you see people speaking in their mother tongue, and which actually lends authenticity to that show. So actually the boundaries are just blurring.
That's the point. I mean, apart from Family Man, can you give me an example where you saw that in a major OTT platform where a show had multiple languages? Apart from Family Man, do you have an example like that, or a subtitling example?
See, we are still developing and exploring, but I know that the OTT platform that Z. I'm not on mute.
Divya is on mute. I think she's trying to make a point here, but she's on mute.
Yeah.
Divya, you are on mute. We can't hear you.
Divya, you're on mute.
No, I did unmute. Sorry, the point I was trying to make is, I think you guys are, see this Big Boss, right? It's come on OTT, and now they're going to launch a Marathi version of the same as well.
Correct.
And that will again be available on OTT. And they have gone OTT first this time because there is certain level of content that they can display over there. I was having a chat with them. What we need to understand that rather than just saying, regional language on OTT, first of all, it has taken years for us to actually build a critical mass for OTT, right? And getting people to cut the cord. So it's a step-by-step thing you do, right? I think OTT platforms are smart enough to understand that you cannot jump into multiple things at the same point of time. You first build a critical mass. Once you build a critical mass, you get people to accept the fact that OTT is now the mass entertainment vehicle. That is when you start spreading your wings and you start saying, okay, we've cemented this, now let's move on to this. Now, third phase, let's move on to this. So it's the rollout phase that we are now witnessing, is what we are trying to say.
Okay. One more thing I would like to understand from you. I mean, this is the point that is often made. When we talk about non-Hindi languages, Indian languages, we start talking about the hinterland, the Bharat-India debate comes into play. But, is it not that you have an urban mass who would actually consume that content? Like, why do we always think that it's something which is there at the hinterland or maybe at the rural parts of the country? Do we not have an urban mass?
I don't think anybody is thinking that, because frankly, I mean, I stay in a metro and I consume Hindi content, right? That's my language of choice, right? So say people who stay in Calcutta or maybe let's say a Hyderabad, or let's say Thiruvananthapuram, they have their own language of choice. I don't think anybody is stating this in any forum, saying that, oh, languages are meant to be, relegated to the hinterlands. Not at all. Nobody is even thinking that. In fact, we believe that if you have an OTT platform running as a business model, bringing languages into the foray only adds to the consumption and the business model and the revenue. Why would we not want to do that? We want to, for sure. But like I said, for any model to scale up, there are going to be eventual phases of rollout, right? Also, the fact that we are very, very aware of the fact that today an Indian, whether it's in India or around the globe, is very proud of the language that they speak, right? So it is no longer the British Raj, where if you didn't know English, blah, 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 blah. Today, you look upon your language as a matter of pride and fact, right? So that also has had its coming of age. The last part is today, and that's exactly why there is a plethora of content which is available. I mean, I watch a lot of content with subtitles. So I watch, for example, a lot of South Indian movies either dubbed or subtitled, right? In choice of English or Hindi. And people are doing that, like Pooja said, it's become language agnostic. And why not enjoy this vastness of the content which is out there? So let me please dispel this myth forever. None of the OTT platform people ever think that languages are to be condoned to hinterlands and they are not a good enough business model. In fact, we are dying to expand our platforms and get as much consumer participation as we can. Let me assure you guys that.
Correct. Thank you. Kranti,
And to add to Divya, what Anirban, I think today Bengali, Gujarati, Marathi, Tamil, they are amongst the top 20 languages spoken in the world. So that's the kind of market we're talking about. Bengali is the sixth most language spoken in the world.
Spenders, yeah. They're one of the top spenders. I mean, even if I was to look at purely from rationalization of business model, they're pure spenders. Why would I not want them? I mean,
they're huge markets, yeah. They are countries in itself. So I think that there's huge untapped potential for sure.
Yeah.
Great. Kranti, in terms of business proposition, do you have enough talent available? I mean, yesterday we had a discussion where they were saying that, initially when television expanded to South, they had to create and shape up the entire production ecosystem. Where is the ecosystem today? And in the regional markets, do they hinge towards OTT? Are they trying to get a show greenlit by you? How is it happening in terms of ecosystem and business proposition from the content software point of view?
Yeah. So I'll just say we have case in particular for Gujarati. About 3 months back in April, we launched a Gujarati specific foray for Shimarumi. And we've made a promise out there to the consumer that we'll offer one new piece of content every week, a proper full length feature, whether it's a film or a web series or a play. Definitely, I would say the ecosystem, and specifically in Gujarati, is evolving still. I would say, I feel there's a long way to go, but I can see definitely also that the fact that, there is that much of demand that, platforms like us are putting out there. There's a lot of activity, excitement, effort. So I would say demand does fuel a good amount of, I would say, supply, and it will take time, and we have to play our role in maturing the industry, whether it's hand-holding them at the various stages of production, setting quality parameters, marketing, etc. In fact, even in terms of acting talent, having a sufficient number of lead actors, actresses, all of that, I feel we have a long way to go, and we'd love to partner and handhold the industry in that, but we have equal support from the industry over there. And again, as I think Divya mentioned in her opening, that it's not about providing 2 pieces of content and then dubbing the rest. You have to make, you have to like entrench yourself, submerge yourself into that market and act like a local player over there. Tap on local nuances. I can even tell you, for example, some of the stuff that we've created. So Gujarati, there is a pretty big talent pool available in Bombay, and then there is a talent pool available in Gujarat. And when we create a content out of Bombay, there's a difference in response that we get versus the content created in Gujarat. The way people identify and connect with a content which is done with actors who are born and brought up in Gujarat is different from the way they react to actors who are born in Bombay but are Gujarati. So there are a lot of nuances, even in terms of locations that you choose, the dialects that you choose. Like we may think it's one Gujarat, but there are just so many dialects within the state. And you have to make the state feel that you are local. You cannot operate as a national player over there. And, that's the, I would say, status.
Correct. What are your aspirations from the Gujarati expansion that you have made? Like, what is it that you think lies ahead, which would make you happy?
So, Shimaru has been investing in the Gujarati market for 15 years now.
Correct.
So for us, it's an extension of, actually finally finding a platform to connect directly B2C with the consumers and monetize the content that we've collected for them and the understanding of the market that we have.
Yeah.
So
great.
Yeah.
Great. Pooja, there's a question, and I think you can take this question. It's actually asking if budgets are a big issue and why the OTT platforms are hesitating in expanding to the regional markets. Also, if you have enough showrunners in local languages who can actually come and deliver you a good show. You're mute. You are on mute, Pooja.
Sorry,
Yeah.
the question is if budgets are an issue.
Yeah, if you are hesitating, in placing a big buck in the regional market, OTT players, and secondly, if there are enough actors and showrunners available to actually deliver that quality product to you for your
See,
investment.
there's enough talent available. I think in our country and the way things are going right now with social media and hyper presence of a lot of talent on social media, I think we've already created enough stars and actors. So there is no dearth of talent in terms of even production and as well as stars. But yes, I would say right now, because I think it's from a business model perspective, budgets may be a bit limiting. But considering that shows can be made in 2 languages, for instance, Hindi and say Bengali, or Bengali or Gujarati or Hindi. It's not so much of a limitation. I think the limitation arises from the monetization of the content. I think that's where there's a bit of a hesitation. But again, like I said, it's a matter of a year or two, and the ask from the local markets, because they've been exposed to some great mainstream content and international content, one cannot not have great, good quality content. So budgets will not be a constraint eventually.
Okay. Divya, do you see room for consolidation in the regional space? Now, this is actually in relation to the question that Ashwini asked. Today there are many Telugu only, Netflixes. Today, Bengali only Netflixes are there, like Hoichoi. So, and then there are all Balaji, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all other also. So, what is it that going forward will happen? Do you see a room for taking over and then probably get that library and play, or will you enter those market and compete with them?
I'll be candid with you. I see consolidation not only in the regional but in national spaces as well.
Okay.
This is a typical era of TV boom back in 2008 when there were some 15 GECs competing with each other, right? Then there was a consolidation, or should I say, sort of rationalization. And today you have a certain sets, delivering the content to you. In a rational world, in a business environment-led world, obviously there is going to be either mergers, or it's going to be an aggregation phase, or even co-production phase, which is going to go through, because as we speak, at some point of time, the business models need to start functioning. The platforms should be able to sustain for themselves, and not just the top line, but the bottom line as well.
Correct.
So I think that's the order of the day. Forget about regional, even the national platforms.
Correct. Kranti, there's a question, and I think you can take it. Why does international dubbed content see more popularity than the regional dubbed content? Is it because of low promotion of the regional content or content quality? Vishal Shah is asking this question.
I'm assuming Vishal's question is that why do people prefer watching international dub to, say, Bengali dub to Hindi?
Yes.
I think that probably, people see a lot of their own language and India-centric content, and there may be an attraction to seeing some international content for not only their production quality, but the storytelling is different. Their, even the kind of stories they do are different. So I wouldn't compare it to, actually say that Indian content would not do better. Probably, Indian content is first accepted, but probably there's enough Indian content in the particular language that versus dubbing it from other languages. But I would say South Indian films dubbed into Hindi are the biggest, I would say, testimony to the fact that Indian languages dubbed into Indian languages works really well.
Correct.
So.
Correct. Pooja, you want to weigh into it? Why are more international dubbed content being consumed in India compared to the Indian dubbed content in different languages? You are again on mute.
So the international dubbed content, I think maybe it could be I'm just, my viewpoint could be a function of a lot of television showing Indian international dubbed content for many years right now, and at the same time the South dubbed content was also shown in Hindi, which is why I don't know. I think that could be the reason, but now I think of late, once as the OTT and the original content is now being dubbed, the quality of dubbing has improved tremendously. I think that could be one of the reasons. And the quality of content is now evolving. So
Okay.
maybe
Okay,
that's
I'll just add on to what
Yeah.
you're saying. I think why international dub content, and I was myself watching a Korean movie, dubbed Korean movie last night. It opens up the portals of the international world viewing for an audience which probably cannot travel so much over there, right? So they get this insight into their culture, into their people, into how the world outside looks like, rather than, our content is worse than their content. I think it's also now people becoming more curious, wanting to know what's happening around the world for culture. So all of a sudden, for example, we've seen before COVID struck us, a boom happening from India for international travel. And it was, I don't think it's just Insta value, it's also the value that you want to know more about the globe, right? So the same principle is applied.
Great. Staying with you, I mean, the SVODs, for example, you are going to ask for money. So is dubbed content a good offering when you are asking for money, or you'd rather go with subtitles, retaining the original content, retaining the authenticity of it? Divya, the question is for you.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah. I'm saying that since you are an SVOD and if the consumer needs to pay for it, will you go with a dubbed content? Like, will you like to offer dubbed content behind a paywall, or instead rather you will go with subtitles and retain the authenticity, saying here is the original product and it's subtitled for different languages?
We've offered subtitles, we've offered dubbed content, and it's always been behind paywall. We are a SVOD platform. For us, SVOD doesn't even exist. The option of AVOD doesn't exist, right? And content is content, whether it's dubbed or subtitled, right? So content has its own value. Just because it's dubbed or subtitled doesn't mean I'm going to put it on a AVOD platform. Was that your question? That should it stay behind the paywall, or
like what is the better way to go ahead with regional content? Is it dubbed or is it subtitled? That was the question.
Oh, okay. No, personally, we've found almost a similar amount of uptake for subtitle and dubbed, and we've had shows dubbed not only in other languages of India, but we've had shows dubbed in Arabic or subtitled in Arabic, Bhasa, etc. So we've targeted international words as well. And honestly, we found an equal uptake. It's an audience preference. Some people have actually, audience have commented on dubbed saying, I would have preferred if it remained in its authentic language, but I would have read subtitles. Some people have actually asked for dubbed versions. So for us, actually, the uptake has been equal for both almost.
Great. I'll take quick closing remarks from all three of you, starting with you, Kranti. Do you think Indian content in the next 1 year will travel, say Indian language content, including Hindi, will travel across regions, in fact, beyond India?
Can I answer this?
Yeah, sure. I can start.
Of course, actually, our content at Eros now is already being very well received and consumed outside of India as well. We have a very, very healthy subscription base in the US, in Canada, in Middle East. So that's already happening. And I think that trend will continue as and when more content pieces keep coming out, which will keep traveling globally. So for us, it's begun the trend. It's already happening. Yeah.
Great. Kranti, your view on content traveling across?
So I feel that the Indian platforms, we've been only, I feel, primarily been able to get consumption from Indian diaspora. It's the international platforms who have created content in India, and that content has definitely been consumed overseas, I mean, by non-diaspora. So I feel that there's not enough platforms for Indian content to travel to non-diaspora as yet. And, I do hope that changes, and that's the only way that we can really, in a mass way, travel to non-diaspora. Otherwise, diaspora to India hi hai. You can't count Indians outside India any different. Their viewing habits, a lot of what they watch is, similar. So, yeah.
Okay. Divya, is the challenge today between Indian content traveling across various regions within India, or is it Indian content being accepted globally? Where do you see, where do you see more attention going on?
Obviously, it's, I'll tell you what, it depends on what the objectives of the model or the platform are, right? So for us, for example, and I'll speak from alt experience, the objective is that since we make Hindi originals, it should ideally reach every Hindi speaking audience for sure across the globe, right? Now, the challenge that comes in that is that there is a globe to market to. And when you're marketing to the globe, you have to keep in mind that the inventories, the habits, the consumption timelines, everything across the globe is, specific to a country, right? Even, for example, the marketing, inventory, effort, cost, push, tie-ups, everything has its own sensibilities. So for us, the challenge has been, how do we get our spate of Hindi originals to be consumed and watched by every Hindi speaking audience first across the globe, and then second, moving on to the fact that if we have dubbed it, let's say in Bhasa or in Arabic, how do we get those people to take up and consume? For us inside India, it's been a fairly decent journey, I will say. In fact, we are happy to see that, as let's say down south also, at least the bigger cities become more cosmopolitan. We are seeing a fair amount of consumption coming for our platform from those cities. Kerala remains a tough market, but then so it is very language specific, as I have in my journey with C5. But I think India has been pretty good to us.
Okay. Last, we seeing more shows from Alt Balaji?
I'm sorry, your voice broke in between and I couldn't hear the entire question.
Yeah, I'm saying I'll ask this to all three of you and we'll conclude this session. Will we see more Indian languages content on OTT, non-Hindi on OTT in the next 1 year, next 2 years? How do you see it happening?
You mean to say, will there be bigger pipeline of Hindi, or will there be a bigger pipeline of language content?
Yes, of language content. Will there be bigger pipeline of language content 2 years down the line? Streaming on Indian OTT platform.
Bigger is not the question. The question is actually will there be a good enough and strong pipeline of language content being serviced to India and language diaspora across the globe. So the consistency of the pipeline, quality of the shows in the pipeline, right? Those first are critical, right? Because that is when you start getting people interested into that. I mean, you keep dishing out X number of shows, but actually the number of shows which are coming out are not of good quality or great star cast, etc. It will never get the audience hooked onto it, right? So the first step is to enhance the quality and then maintain the consistency in delivering it. And on back of it, ensuring that there is a plethora of content available in their sensibilities, whether it's dubbed or subtitled. I do see that happening within the next 2 years. I can say that much for sure.
Great. Kranti, want to add something to it?
Yeah, I surely think that we'll definitely see, as Divya defined it, more pipeline and better quality content coming out of the languages. I can see a lot of effort by national OTTs and a lot of money flowing into smaller regional OTTs, both that will drive these ecosystems. And yeah.
Thank you. Pooja, you want to add something? More OTT shows in Indian languages, or
I'm just quoting the industry trends. 50% of our viewership is going to come from regional languages, and so it goes without saying that every platform, every content creator will go into and will make more regional language content. So you will see that happening next time. When another year from now, there'll be a lot more content coming in across languages. It's already happening.
That's a fantastic note to end this conversation. Thank you very much, Divya, Pooja, and Kranti, for your time.
Lovely talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Divya. Bye, Kranti.
Yeah. Bye, Divya. Bye, Pooja. Thanks, Anirban.
Thank you.
Again, sorry for being late.
No, we were on time. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.